Hello everyone, welcome to April. I meant to get this video out yesterday and it just didn't work out, and I'm so glad everything happens for a reason, because for the first time in a long time I'm starting to feel myself come back into my body. By a long time I mean maybe the past 7 to 10 days. It's just kind of felt very dreamlike. I felt like just kind of was floating. I felt at times very heavy in my body, achy. I'm very, very tired. Some difficulty sleeping, and my workouts have been a struggle. So if you're feeling any of these symptoms, you're not alone. I kind of put the intention out there just right now to be clearing for all of you, and for the voice, for the sounds in my voice to be an activation for those of you that are listening. And I can also use my hands for activation, which are moving a little bit. So messages for the first half of this month. There's a lot of integration right now, a lot of integration. And the way that I would describe it is that it feels as if the lights were turned off and there was a lot of confusion and a lot of trying to move around in the dark and not be able to see or navigate. And now the lights are slowly coming back on, and we're adjusting because now the lights are brighter than they have ever been. So a lot of these transits that are happening astrologically, a lot of the things that are happening with the retrograde and the eclipses, all of this is sort of, it's redesigning us on a fundamental level to be able to acclimate to more information, to more light codes. And so as those codes start to come in, we will be able to actually handle the information. So I am going to pull, I actually did pull 3 cards already. I don't want to look at them until after I finish channeling what I'm hearing, and then we can see how the cards come together, full picture. So I do feel like by the end of the month, when I say the end of the month, I mean maybe closer to Easter, so just even a couple weeks from now, that as we move out of the Mercury retrograde and as we move into the more mature part of the month, I feel really strongly that there's going to be a lot more activity happening. So it still feels a little bit sleepy out there right now energetically. This is not to be misunderstood for like things aren't happening, because while we're resting, actually a lot is happening. So if you find things are still kind of slowing down in your life, or you are still feeling a little sleepy, a little tired, a little achy, or it might be a day where your energy all of a sudden it just goes right up and then the next day it goes down again. It's okay. Like, we're all just getting used to this. We're also all kind of like figuring out who we are. So there may be some necessary space between people and relationships. And it doesn't mean that relationship is ending if you're feeling that happened to you with another person or other people or your loved ones or family, or vice versa if you are the one creating the space. It's just right now there's just that recalibration and understanding who we are. Like, who are we now? And so we're just reevaluating in that space right now. It's like a rubber band or a muscle contracting. Like, we're kind of doing this and it's going to come back, and it's going to be like this always, right? But right now we're really just taking a lot of time to expand. We're expanding, right? We're expanding, we're creating a lot of space, and then it's going to just, there's going to be some energy to match that on the contraction. And so there might be a suddenness where a lot of things dial through. And it could be the end of the month, or maybe it's early next month, where a lot of things dial through, where all of a sudden you're hearing back from people that you reached out to that you haven't heard from, or you've been waiting for an answer. Maybe Some people have been applying for new positions or new jobs or summer internships or kids figuring out college or next steps, anything on that. Or maybe we're deciding on taking a trip or purchasing a new car or buying a new home, anything like that. Anything, could be anything. There's going to be a lot of clarity on that path coming in, but that feels not quite there yet. So just hold on tight. Nothing has been forgotten. All right, I'm going to read these cards really quickly. The first one is I pulled for all of you is called Water in Your Garden, and it's nourishment. Oh my gosh, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. I did not look at these cards. To prove that, I have to go through the book and look it up. I haven't even bookmarked it or read it. So this card is Earth is a seasonal planet, and as such, you're a seasonal being, cyclic. You can't be on and in full bloom month after month, day after day. You are strongly being called to put on the brakes, rest, and refuel, to take a moment to restock and replenish and slow down right now. Your body is the only body you're given, and it needs to be respected as such. You're being called to take responsibility for your well-being, to put your health and body first. I know it can feel like this time is running out and as if there are urgent things that simply cannot wait. However, if you keep pushing on, soon fatigue will set in. This way of living isn't sustainable. So if anyone continues to race through life, eventually they will reach exhaustion, and it will take longer to recover than it would if they had just rested in the first place. And that is actually a theme of most of my energy work sessions right now. That whole sentence right there. I have been channeling that message for about a month now. So highlight that. Immune system disorders and mystery illnesses are becoming more common because we're putting too much pressure on our bodies to keep up with the instantaneous pace of modern life, which, by the way, is not normal. Okay? We weren't designed for internet and high-speed internet and email and text messaging and instant messaging on social media apps. Like, that's not how Spirit wants us to go in the other direction. So just keep that in mind when I say other direction, like more like meetups, like with your neighbors and your friends locally, and walking and just building connections within your community. How are you being called to put on the brakes, to rest, restore, and rejuvenate? When was the last time you took a holiday or a full weekend, day, or afternoon off? Look after your precious body and mind and give yourself enough time to recover, or you will find yourself running on reserve. So there is enough time. Life will bend towards you when it needs to. There is enough time. There's always enough time. We cannot create more time by doing more. That's just how we measure time, by doing things. But it's not reality. That's just illusionary. Okay, the second card is the Great Severing. Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. And this card, this is a shadow card, which doesn't surprise me because we're in Mercury retrograde, which brings up all of our shadow aspects. The shadow aspects are those parts of ourselves that we avoid or diminish because we don't want to face the reality of what's going on. So it could be abandonment. It could be an insecurity about something. It could be imposter syndrome. Just anything that creates disharmony with you. That could be a shadow aspect that's coming up right now. Unlovable, I don't belong. Those are all shadow aspects. So this is a shadow card, one that may feel confrontational. Don't be afraid. It's here to bring to the surface anything that's standing in the way of letting love in. The warring planet of Mars is our constant reminder that it's important to soften, forgive, and find our way back to love. There are many things in the human experience that make it difficult for our heart and soul to stay open to the never-ending source of love. We're all wounded, and our conscious wounds inflict wounds on others. It can feel like a never-ending dance we can never escape. So if we're not careful, before long we'll see the world as a scary, dangerous place where fear and anxiety roam free. If this card surfaces, it could be for two reasons. First, for you to acknowledge the difficult emotions, situations, conflicts, wounds, and fears that are causing you pain and anxiety. Second, This is a card for you to find your way back to love. I personally have been doing a lot of heart healing right now. And if you go below this video, there is a link in the newsletter to a book that I'm reading right now by Yung Pueblo, which takes you back into your heart space and self-love and heart healing. Highly, highly, highly recommend that book right now. When we're hurt, it's normal to close off our heart to the world, to let the painful experience confirm the agony of separation and earthly life. Soften and find your way back to love anyway. When fear, anxiety, and paranoia paralyze you, it's normal to want to hide away from others and the world. Come out of your cave and soften your heart anyway. We're all innocent children, spinning our way around the world. Find a way to see the innocence in all people, especially yourself. In all people, especially yourself. Especially yourself. I feel like I'm highlighting, underlining that. Guys, if you're watching this video, it's for a reason, and I'm going to say right now, if you are feeling unlovable, you don't belong, you're feeling unseen, you feel like you're not wanted, those are mirrors back to you, showing you where you are feeling, you are showing yourself you're unwanted, you're unlovable, and you don't belong. So you have to go into your core wounding. You have to go inside, or else, like a mirror, you're walking around with a mirror and literally everyone around you is going to show you the amplification of that. Okay, last card. Fall into my arms. Surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. This card is the Great Mother ushered you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life can be, and that being human can be lonely and confusing. That the polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often we see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded, and when things are bad, we interpret that as we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow. And it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. You're being invited to welcome the highs and lows of the human experience, to let them initiate you more fully into life. The agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. The Great Mother wants you to hand over your loneliness, worries, sorrows, fears, burdens, and doubts, and to lay them on her altar, to fully extend into her arms. And remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent. The more wildly the pendulum of your life swings, the more truthfully you can say, I have truly lived. So you get to decide how you want to surrender. When it's capitalized mother or mother, that could symbolize Mother Earth. It could symbolize, for some of you, there might be a spiritual, someone spiritually that represents the Great Mother. I personally, I lean into the Mother Earth, into Mother Nature. I find a lot of surrender and gratitude in fresh air. When I see the flowers blooming, when I see the birds, when I hear the birds chirping, when I feel the rain on my skin, I feel a lot of gratitude and a lot of surrender. And I'm just being reminded right now that we weren't created here to be in pain. Pain is just a symbol. It's not a symbol. Pain is a sign of our existence, and it lets us know that we're here for a reason. We're here to heal something, but it's not the definition, the end all be of who we are. And remember, life is happening for you, not to you. So you're not being punished when things happen. Like I said, right now these wounds are coming up. The mirror is being held out so people can ping back to you, like where you are doing your healing, and then lean into the foundations that already exist here. The earth, the flowers that are going to be blooming soon, the fresh air when it rains or maybe snows, all of this earth elements right now. You could even light like a little Palo Santo, get some of that fire going, clear your energy, feel that connection. Drink a lot of water, hydrate, rest as much as you can, because everything on a cellular level is reconfiguring itself right now. And so this is essential for you to rest, to know that you are divinely protected, you are on the path, and everything that you're experiencing right now, while it's temporary, it's also very essential. Okay, I'll see you in a couple weeks.